What's up, guys? Iceman here. So this is where a friend of mine claims to have seen a massive flying creature, and what it did to him is unbelievable. All right. I decided to tell this story now. Back when I first heard it, I didn't want to be one of those people, you know, that entertains these ideas. I was too embarrassed or something. Now, mind you, he told me this story about 12 years ago, and it took place right here in Michigan. And I'm taking you right to the spot where he saw it. I started looking into these things a little bit more after he told me the story, and this guy told me the story with great conviction, all right? I lived in this apartment not far from here, and he lived next door to me in the other apartment where his nephew lived. He stayed with his nephew sometimes, and that's how I met this guy. He was about 15 years older than I was. He was a brother of African descent, which is interesting because the sort of heritage or lore of these creatures actually goes back to Africa. Even to this day, I saw stuff on YouTube, these documentaries, this and that. I think there's even a Monster Quest on it. These guys go out to Africa and South America and so forth. They go deep into the great woods, right? They interview these folks who live there. And they often, when confronted about it, they admit that there are these flying creatures that are massive. They call them flying devils, all right? Or flying demons. And what my friend saw and what it did afterward was absolutely terrifying. I'm gonna show you right where we saw the damn thing. But when he was telling me this story, I was sitting across from him at my apartment on the couch. He was on the other side of the little table, standing up. He was being animated about it. He was throwing his arms around. It's like, oh yeah, it was huge. The wings were like this big. It's like a school bus. He swears it was the size of a freaking school bus. And here's where it happened, but I'm curious if you guys let me know in the comments. Are these things actually out there? Now, since then, I started reading up on theories of them. Some say that the rulers and powers and principalities of the world have hidden these things from us. They say that centuries ago, they scoured the known world, or the world that they allow us to know anyway, and they wiped all these things out with technology greater than what we know of, right? They say that they're slowly revealing the technology again today, but they had this technology. They go around, they kill all these creatures to try to create a fake timeline, a fake history to deceive us all. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying it's speculation. But here's where it happened. He saw that thing. He was walking up this trail, like how I just was. You see that trail behind me? He's walking up this trail, and he looks to his right, and he becomes frozen in fear. What he sees is this creature. I'm going to show you the spot. It's right there. It's up on that pole. All right. See, there's this overlook here, and then there's those poles. You see those poles? Look at that big old pole out there. They're like telephone poles or something. I don't really know what the hell they are. They got wires going on them. And there's another one right there. Look at that one. But he saw it, to my understanding, on this one over here. He said it was standing on that little bottom horizontal brace. You see those two horizontal braces there? It was standing on the bottom one, and it was like this tall on it. Its head was reaching about up to here. All right? This creature from beyond, so it seemed. He said it was the biggest bird or flying animal he's ever seen. And it was just sitting there. What's crazy is when he told me the story, a girl who I was dating at the time was with us. And she confirmed all this stuff. She was like, oh yeah, I've seen him. She's like, I've seen him out in the great woods not far from here. She's like, it's called the Ropen. And then she was so determined. Now, I was dating her at the time, so I kind of wanted to act like I was giving some attention to the idea. But she knew I had big doubts. I mean, I think she knew I didn't believe her. I hate to say it. She's getting frustrated with me, all right, for doubting her. Being like, well, what if it was just a great heron? What about like a condor that somehow made it over here? Or maybe your depth perception was off, right? Or hell, maybe you're hallucinating, right? Which is kind of insulting to say to someone, which is why I didn't want to tell her that. So I tried to keep a good reserve when she was telling me the story, but she was telling me the same thing about these birds. And she went as far as to go out with her little binoculars, with her little camera, to search for this unknown creature. All right, now they say it looks like a pterodactyl. And she would say that as well. She's like, oh yeah, it has a long beak, big leathery wings, big claws on the ends of the wings, or like halfway up, like how a pterodactyl is. Then it has a long tail, long skinny tail with a little dagger or triangle at the end. Is how they both described it. Now I think one of them said it had a crest on the back, like a pterodactyl. But I don't know, these things might vary. Maybe some say they're interdimensional beings, you know what I'm saying? Or demons. I think that's what tried to come out of my mouth right there. They could be demons. They could be creatures of deception. Creatures from beyond, creatures of hollow earth or whatever. But nonetheless, my buddy, he said he saw it right there. And him and it was his cousin who he was with, I think, or his nephew who was older at the time. I can't remember. It was his cousin or his nephew. They're with each other, and they saw this damn thing. Horrified. And they said then it spread its wings. All right? I know this sounds like a monster movie or something, but that's what it did, according to their first-hand account, as much as it pains for me to say it. It spread its wings, and then they said it lifted off, like the wind caught up on its wings, and it sort of hovered up, and then it just soared that way, right? And these guys were terrified. When they saw it soar that way, they were shocked. They were sweating. He said he froze in fear, and he started backstepping here, and he turned with his cousin or nephew or whatever, and he said that they started running as fast as they could. He said it was so big, he said he knew that it could pick him up if it wanted to, or pick his cousin or nephew up if it wanted to. He said he knew it could do that by the sheer size. I was like, how do you know it's so big? How do you know it's that? He was like, because I saw it on the pole. His head was all the way up there. And he was talking about that damn pole. All right? And according to my perspective, if I were to measure that damn thing, yeah, that's at least 10, 15 feet. That spot where it was perched to the tip of that damn pole. And he said its head was going up past the damn tip. All right? He said when he spread out its wings, he was a good estimator on that one, but he said it was like the size of a school bus. The size of that freaking pole. All right? You see that pole? Yeah, it was on the bottom part. It was on the bottom horizontal beam, and its head protruded past the tip. You tell me. What, I got to go out there and get a damn measuring tape? He swore by it. All right? He swore by this. He said its wings were so wide, but they ran back to the car. They started running back. He knew it could pick them up if it wanted to. And I think that we have an innate fear of birds to some extent, of large birds, because they're predatorial, right? Hawks, eagles. Like I think human children have a fear in them regarding those birds. And maybe even things of the past, just remnants deep within our subconscious of maybe a day when humans lived among bigger bears or something. I don't know. I mean, shit, it's a big animal, right? That's all that matters. It's a big animal. So we're scared. And it's a big predatorial animal, because a lot of birds are predatorial, and this one sure as hell looked like it was. Long, nasty beak, big leathery wings, dagger on the damn tail. I don't know what it's, I think it's just for aerodynamics and balance. But so they ran back to their car, and then you know what happened? They went, there's a parking lot down this trail, all right? That's where I'm headed. A little opening out there in a parking lot. This is in Michigan. These Ropen have been spotted here. There's vast wilderness in Michigan. It extends all the way up to the upper peninsula of just endless freaking wilderness. All right? Mountains, wilderness, trees. Technology sucks there. No reception, this and that. But they ran down that damn trail. All right? They got into their cars and they saw it again. They saw it going through this sky up here, and it swooped, not far, it was sort of coming in their direction. They ran into their cars, they slammed the doors, and they saw this thing soar above them. Like frickin' Rodan from Godzilla. Look that up. Look up Rodan from Godzilla. I can't help but wonder if that's what this damn thing was sort of based on, or that's what Rodan was based on, rather. That's what he said. He said they got the hell out of Dodge. All right? Took off with their little car, buzzed the hell out of here. He told me that story like he saw the damn thing yesterday. He was on fire when he was telling me that story. He was jumping around, showing me his arms, just trying to stir up within me that this is exactly what he saw. He was so convicted. I've never seen anyone tell a story with such conviction. The guy was jumping around. Like I said, he was standing up. I was sitting down. I was trying to keep my calm, right? He was on the other side of my table, a little table that we played chess on. And he was across that table, standing up in the middle of my apartment living room. Jumping up, telling me the story. But anyway, if you guys will like this video, we got to get the word out there. What are these things? Do they exist? Why do they exist? When do they exist? What's the story behind them? Why have they been hidden from us? And what's to come regarding them? Like the video if you will, subscribe to this page. This is my Haunting Tales channel, and I'll see you all tomorrow with more haunting tales from the Iceman.